Good morning, everybody. Excited to be on with you guys today. It's a new day. It's not snowing, so we can only hope that it'll start, right? I love snow. I want it to snow. So we'll see what happens on Thursday, right? The beautiful thing about it, if it snows this year, then we already have all of the online stuff already in place, so nobody will miss anything, right? So good morning, Kim. You're on. It's good to see you. I pray you're doing well. I missed your face. So I just want to encourage you guys too to remember to log in or to come into the building on Wednesday nights for Pastor Jim's The Story teaching. Awesome. And it's from 6:30 to 7:30, and you will not regret the time. You will not regret taking the time to just grow and learn and to be challenged and all of that together. So Becky, it's good to have you on here. La Quinta, good to have Judy. Yes, you're ready for snow too. I love it. It's so much fun. My dog does not love it, but I love it. So Anume, good to see you. So my sweet, sweet husband. So we just want to remind you, like come for Wednesday night, sign up for services on Sunday. We've got new things that are coming down the pike, so keep your eyes open and keep alert and pay attention to what's happening. Derek, it's good to see you on here. So Robert Brockman, how are you? So I'm gonna be brief this morning. I don't have a huge, deep thing, but it's a challenge for you. So I'm just gonna get started. So Cohen, he's 7. He's going to be 8 at the end of this month, or at the end of March. And I don't know if I'm ready for an 8-year-old grandson, but we're going to get one anyway. So we'll see what happens. Cohen is an interesting guy. He is very, very, very thoughtful. He is very, very generous. He writes stories for me. He likes to have gifts for us. He builds me things out of Legos. I have a Christmas tree and myself that he made out of Legos sitting in my windowsill, and it's adorable. He is very, very generous, and he's very, very thoughtful. But he's also very, very spontaneous, which is an interesting combination. So he'll show up at our house and he'll grab me and he'll pull me aside and he'll go, Grandma, I want to make a treat for everybody. All right. So he'll pull out one of the trays, the serving trays, and then he'll just randomly go through the cupboards and he'll just start pulling stuff out. And so like one time he did this, and we had beef jerky, and we had like 3 marshmallows and an Oreo and a handful of peanuts and an apple just sitting there. I'm just random stuff. But he wanted to bless everyone. And so then he takes the tray around and everybody gets to pick what they want, whether they want a marshmallow or an apple or a peanut or something like that. So it's this spontaneous thoughtfulness that he has. He has this great idea to love. He wants to love. He's good at loving. But it's spur of the moment. And it's just this thing of, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it right now. And you can't delay it. You can't say, sweetheart, we're almost about to have dinner, so let's do it for dessert. No, got to do it right now. There's no delay in his love for people. And it's really, really cool. And I hope he never loses that. And I want to challenge you guys to start thinking in that way. So in 1 Peter 4, verse 10, I'm going to read this in the NIV. It says, the end of all things is near. So this is totally a sidelight. I heard Dr. Jack Hayford one time. Somebody had asked him, Pastor Jack, are these the end times? And he looked at him, he goes, well, these are your end times. These are the only times you have. So we don't have to worry about the eschatology of whether or not this is the end times or where we are in the timeline and yada, yada, yada. These are the only days you have. These are the only days you have to love, to be extravagant, to be faithful, to walk out what God's called you to do. So the end is near. It's true. It's our end times, right? Who knows if the world will last another 1,000 years or not? Doesn't matter. These are our end times. These are our only opportunity. So he says, therefore be alert and of sober mind so that you can pray. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. If anyone speaks, they should do as one who speaks the very words of God. If anyone serves, they should do with the strength God provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ. To him be the glory and the power forever and ever. Amen. And I think of these words when it says that as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. So my challenge for you this day is to say, okay, Lord, what form of grace have you poured out on me this day? Doesn't have to be for all of your life. It's just this day. Lord, what form of grace have you poured out on me? And how are you challenging me to love extravagantly? Love covers over a multitude of sins, it tells us. So there's not a person that we're not called to love. There's not a person that we're not called to pour into and to bring life to. And so how are we going to combine those two things? The various graces that have been poured out in our lives with our call to love extravagantly, because love covers over a multitude of sins. And so I want to challenge you today, as you walk out what God's called you to do, to open your eyes and to see those around you and say, Lord, how am I to pour out your love through the grace that you've given me? So for Cohen, he likes to make people snacks and he likes to draw people pictures. He's a 7-year-old boy. I've got some super cute little flying pigs that he's drawn for me. But for you, what is your method? What is your grace for pouring out the love of God into people? Is it speaking words to them of life and of hope and of healing? Is it acts of service? Is there someone that you can take care of today, that you can make something for, that you can cook something for, that you can bring a cup of coffee to? Is it randomness where you pay for the coffee of the person in the car behind you? Is it, how are you called today to live out this verse of loving extravagantly in the various graces that God has given to you? I can't tell you how he's poured out grace in your life that you should pour out into somebody else, but you already know how to do this. We just have to be willing to say yes. And that sometimes is the hard part, is because we want to love people that deserve it. We want to love people that have earned it. We want to love people that will respond appropriately to our love. We don't want to love extravagantly to cover over a multitude of sins. See, what happens in that place when you start to love someone extravagantly, regardless of how they've treated you or who they are or what they've done or what their history is or what they might do with your gift or what yada, 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 yada. If we love extravagantly despite that, our love will allow them to see that they are valued and worth something and chosen and cherished and precious, and that they matter to God. And so that way they would be able to come and say, you know what, maybe I am worth loving. Maybe God can love me. Maybe I can turn away from this life of destruction and find life. And so my challenge for you today is to simply love extravagantly, love spontaneously. Be thoughtful in how you are going to spontaneously love those who you encounter today. So that's all I have for you today. I did want to I pray that you are blessed today, that you see the hand of the Lord at work in your life, that you hear his voice clearly, that he reveals himself to you in a new way. I do want to let you know that we are moving into some new things with the pastoral staff here, that we're going to be bringing some new ways of bringing you the word and bringing you testimony and all of the things that God is doing. So there's going to be some shifts in what's going on. We are going to be ending these morning devotionals, but that doesn't mean we're going to be ending our pouring the word into your lives. So be praying for us as we make some changes, but also be praying for yourself to be open to what God is doing next. So we love you all. Can't wait to see you. Fabulous day.